A child born into a wealthy family has the opportunity to attend good schools, access modern technology, and receive quality health care. In contrast, a child growing up in poverty may attend under-resourced schools and sometimes even have to leave school early to help support their family. These two children grow up in the same society but have vastly different starting points and opportunities. What has created such a significant gap between their lives? Why does wealth disparity create such a large divide in society? The widening income gap is creating formidable barriers within society. Wealthier individuals have the means to heavily invest in education, healthcare, and economic opportunities, allowing them to continually improve their quality of life and further widen the gap with lower income groups. According to the World Bank, the top 1% of the world's wealthiest individuals hold about 38% of global assets, while the poorest, 50%, own only around 2%. These figures reflect a harsh reality. Access to essential services for the poor is severely limited. They often lack the resources to attend quality schools, afford health care, and have little chance for upward mobility. This cycle of inequality enables the wealthy to become even richer, while the poor fall further behind, not only financially, but also in terms of opportunity and quality of life. Here are the Gini coefficients for several countries, with values ranging from 0, perfect equality, to 1, absolute inequality. Based on these Gini coefficients, we can clearly observe the differing levels of income disparity across economies. South Africa, with a Gini coefficient of 0.63, ranks among the countries with the highest income inequality in the world, highlighting a significant gap between the wealthy and the poor, which limits many people's access to economic and social opportunities. Brazil, with a coefficient of 0.53, also exhibits substantial income disparity, underscoring that inequality remains a major issue in this South American economy. In the United States, the Gini coefficient stands at 0.41, indicating a moderate level of income inequality, yet it's still noteworthy. Although the US is a large economy, income distribution remains uneven, sparking debates over social equity and access to services. Sweden, with a Gini coefficient of 0.28, stands out for its high level of income equality, a result of its strong social welfare system and effective wealth distribution policies. These figures not only illustrate the degree of inequality within each country, but also shed light on the social, economic, and political factors influencing income distribution in society. Education has long been seen as the key to escaping poverty, but in reality, not everyone has access to quality education. Wealthy families can easily send their children to good schools with modern facilities and advanced curricula, while children from low-income families face numerous limitations. According to UNESCO, children from poor households are 4 times less likely to attend university compared to those from wealthier families, highlighting deep-seated inequality. Moreover, in many developing countries, only about 60% of children complete primary education, while in developed countries, this rate is nearly 100%. This creates a vicious cycle. Children from wealthy families continue to have greater chances of success, while children from low-income families struggle to rise up due to limited educational opportunities from the start. University tuition in many countries, like the United States, can reach tens of thousands of dollars per year, making higher education nearly unattainable for low-income families. As a result, the wealth gap widens further, and education, once a pathway out of poverty, becomes a barrier for many. In impoverished communities, the lack of basic resources and infrastructure, such as healthcare, housing, and transportation, is not just an immediate issue, but also a long-term barrier, making it extremely difficult for them to escape the cycle of poverty. According to the World Health Organization, up to 50% of the global population lacks adequate access to basic healthcare services, leading to higher mortality and illness rates in poor regions. Additionally, nearly 1 billion people worldwide live without safe housing, and over 3 billion lack access to adequate transportation services. This significantly hinders their ability to access job opportunities, education, and personal development. This lack is not just a financial issue, it's also a story of opportunity. Without essential resources and infrastructure, people in impoverished areas lack the means to improve their lives, leading to growing social inequality. Even if they have the desire to change their circumstances, barriers in healthcare, housing, and transportation compound their struggles. This is why investing in basic infrastructure in poor communities is so vital. Not only does it improve quality of life, but it also creates real opportunities for people to lift themselves out of poverty. In many countries, tax systems are typically progressive, meaning higher income earners pay a higher tax rate. However, in reality, the wealthy often benefit from tax loopholes and preferential policies that help minimize their tax burden. For instance, investments, assets, and income from stocks are often taxed at lower rates than wages, giving an advantage to those with substantial wealth. In contrast, the poor often have limited options to minimize taxes and end up spending a significant portion of their income on consumption taxes, such as VAT, directly affecting their daily expenses. A study by Oxfam highlights that in some countries, low-income groups bear a much higher tax-to-income ratio compared to the wealthy when indirect taxes are taken into account. This makes the tax burden a significant barrier for the poor, while the rich can benefit from public services and government incentives, such as corporate subsidies, premium healthcare, and quality education. People in poorer areas have a life expectancy 10 to 15 years lower than those living in wealthier regions. Additionally, they often face higher risks of infectious and chronic diseases due to unsanitary living environments and hazardous working conditions. A World Bank report indicates that in low-income countries, only about 20% of the population has access to basic healthcare services. This lack of access leaves the poor especially vulnerable to illness, with limited chances for recovery, perpetuating poverty and deepening the divide between social classes. The wealth gap is not just a temporary issue, but creates a cycle that spans generations, where the rich continue to grow richer, while the poor sink deeper into hardship. According to a report by Oxfam, the wealthiest 1% amassed nearly twice as much wealth as the remaining 99% of the population, highlighting a trend of wealth concentration among the elite. This is partly due to the wealthy having the means to reinvest and expand their assets, while the poor lack opportunities to improve their circumstances. Moreover, data from the World Bank indicates that while the income of the rich steadily increases, the income of the poor fails to keep up, further widening the gap. In countries with high income inequality, crime rates and social conflicts tend to rise significantly, creating a cycle of instability. When the poor are left behind and struggle to access basic opportunities, they often find themselves trapped in hopelessness, which can lead to criminal behaviors such as violence, theft, and robbery. Areas with high poverty rates often report higher instances of theft and robbery, as many cannot afford basic necessities. Additionally, the stress caused by social inequality increases cases of domestic violence and sexual abuse, as people face psychological pressures without adequate support resources. These crimes are not only the result of wealth disparity, but also a sign of a fractured society, lacking cohesion and mutual trust. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss upcoming videos. Thank you for watching.